Hey everyone, it's Lisa. I'm finally here with my review on the metallics. Hi Sherry, so I hope this is helpful. And hopefully you'll get to see this video for the first. I got a brand new Mac finally, so I haven't had a chance to do any editing or anything on it, so this will be the first video that I will edit on it, and prayerfully everything will go smoothly, and if you're watching this, we know that it did, right? So anyway, Sherry had asked about the metallics, so I've done several projects with the metallics, the gold and the silver, so I'm going to show you those and just give you my take on it, and I'm hoping and praying that I remember everything I wanted to say about it, because unlike with the last review I did, I haven't written any notes, so just bear with me. So I played with some different materials, and before I get into the cards, let me show you what those were. I just thought, let me see what it does. So I meant to actually stamp on this for you before I shrunk it, but this is shrink art, and I'm going to zoom in. When I initially stamped on the shrink plastic, it was beautiful. It was crisp and it was clean. I did that before I left. Last week we were in Oregon, and so it had been sitting on the shrink plastic for about a week, a little over a week possibly, and it was still rubbing off this morning when I touched it. So if you can look here, you'll see it's all smeared. But I went ahead, because the silver one, it's out of frame. The silver one I hadn't smeared it up yet. And I don't know what I was thinking. I thought, well, maybe the heat will set it. So I went ahead and I used my die, shoot, I didn't bring that in here, but one of our thinlits to cut out the stars, and these are two different sizes as you can see, and went ahead and used my heat tool to shrink it, and then I touched it again, and that's when it really started, started to come off. So what I'm thinking about this is that if you can get a shrink plastic that's more porous, and that's what I've learned, you need to use these inks on a porous background, and they do work better on paper, as I will show you in a moment. So what I was thinking, I would maybe try later with look at that, look how pretty that would be if it didn't come off, but as you can see, it does. I might try sanding, like roughing up some shrink plastic, what I have. I think you might be able to find a shrink plastic that is more porous that might take this ink. I don't know, haven't tried that, but that's just a thought that I have, and if any of you want to try that and let us know about it, that would be awesome. But I think it would be very pretty, especially with our what is that stamp set, with our bright and so, oh my gosh, you can't see that, but with our bright and beautiful stamp set, that would make really pretty charms, or let me go wide here, an embellishment on a card or a tag or whatever. Like I said, I'm not sure, but I seem to remember that there is a shrink plastic out there that is more porous. And again, like I said, maybe try sanding it to roughen it up a bit and see how that works. I might try that later. So so there's that. So we know that on just regular shrink plastic, it's going to smear off, even though it was very pretty when I first stamped it on there. It was very crisp and clean, and it was just gorgeous. And like I said, I blew it because I meant to stamp them again so you could see just how pretty they looked on the shrink plastic. And then here is some of our canvas that we sell, and this is the gold and this is the silver. Now I will say that there is some user error, I guess you could say. On this one you see that it's more defined, the gold. I believe the silver would have been just as defined had I pressed more and longer. You have to give the ink time to absorb into your material. That is something that I learned playing around with these inks. So really press. Also, don't be afraid to really ink up those stamps. I mean, I had to, you know, if I started off kind of tapping it on there because I was trying not to get any halos or anything. Do not be afraid to ink up your stamp. You're going to have to. And just check for your halos before you stamp. So there's that. This one I obviously pressed harder on because more than likely I did this one first and saw how light it came out, and then I pressed harder on that one. And then I tried it on one of our little bags here, muslin bags, and you can see, you know, the design is there. If you like kind of a I don't know, I don't want to say rustic. I mean, it can make a pretty design if you, I don't know, shabby chic? I don't know what term to say. Aged, maybe something like that. You can use a design and stamp all over, and it is dry as you see it. It dries very well on these type of materials. Although I am going to tell you, don't touch them right away. They do take a little longer than our classic inks, but not as long as the was the craft ink that I showed you the last time I was with you. So there's that. You see how that is. Again, just let it soak in there. You're going to leave that stamp on there a lot longer than I did for this one. So now let's show you it on cardstock. So I'm going to get, here, I'll show you all the gold first. Let's see here. Well, actually, I probably should show you that next because I have a card that I actually haven't put together. I'll show you the silver. So, here's a card I made using the, just a simple card. And I wanted to keep them really simple so you can, mainly to focus on the inks themselves, not so much on the design of a card. Also, if they work for you, you know, look how quickly you can whip up a bunch of cards. I mean, this is just a layer of Whisper White cardstock, my image, and then this is our beautiful brushed silver cardstock in the background. So I used the Newborn King stamp set. And let's see, can you see? It's shimmery. The metallics are very shimmery. I think this image looks a little light. I mean, if you like that, that's fine. To add more interest to this, I could have inked the edges, but again, I just wanted to keep it pretty simple so we could focus more on the ink. So there's a beautiful shine. You can see the star here is more, what is the word I'm looking for? It's like gone. Anyway, you can see the star better. So, you know, the more bold your image is, I think the better results you're going to get. And then I just stuck a little rhinestone right there. So there's that one. And then this one, one of the cards. I actually had some of these projects. I was ready to do a video for you a couple of weeks ago and didn't get a chance to. So as you can see on this, or hopefully you can see, it's stamped very nicely on vellum. It is awesome on vellum. I really like that. So let me go in tight there. And I have another one to show you that has vellum. Ooh, is that a little too tight maybe? And that is our, where is it? That is our Cheerful Christmas stamp set. And some of our sequins. And this one I stamped, and I did another sheet of the cherry cobbler because I realized I pretty much covered those stars up so you couldn't really see how the silver looks, you know, with the cherry cobbler background. So there you can see that better. And if I was going to just use this just the way it is without adding anything else, without adding another layer, I'd probably just put like some little rhinestones on there and then add a sentiment and be done with it. Quick and simple. And oh, one more. And then there's this one. And again, I realized I covered up the silver background, so I stamped one of our baubles onto this. What is this? I want to say it's Pacific Point cardstock. I love this color. I love blues. So there's how that looks. And again, this is a fine line drawing, but it still looks good on there. So, each of your colors are going to give you a different effect and look. But I can't emphasize enough, press, press, press. And give that ink time to get absorbed into your paper, and you will get a better image. And again, don't touch it right away because it will smear. So give it a minute or so. So there's that. And then here's our gold. And as you can see what I mean about the pressing, this is one of the earlier cards that I did. I didn't press enough right there on that star. But hopefully you can see where I did press well, just how pretty that gold is. It's a beautiful gold shimmer. And then look at the sentiment. That's a bold font there, so it looks very clean and crisp on this vellum, and it's dry. It's not smearing when I touch it. And then I just staple that there. So that's that. And then here, again, that image in gold. And I just kept it simple. Here I didn't do stamping that well. So again, you're going to get a beautiful image, but you have to be patient and really give that ink time to get into your material. And obviously, from my experimenting with it, I don't know why I say obviously, except that I kind of alluded to it earlier. This is not an ink for your smooth, non-porous materials. So there's that. And then this is our last one. And I almost covered it up again and decided to just put my, went out of frame. Put my dimensionals on the back of this so you can see that gold on this blue. And I'm thinking this is Pacific Point. I love how they, the shimmer of them. And they do, if you don't mind like a light background on something, it'll work for that just fine. But I'm just saying that if you want it bold, nice and bold, just make sure you press it in there and, press all around, especially if you're using a large background to give it time to absorb. I'm going to go a little wider here. And then of course you can tell, it's beautiful on Whisper White cardstock. So, it shows very well. Both of the gold metallic and the silver metallic. And I just added a little of our gold twine to this. So I'm going to add that to the card now that you've seen the background. And try to center that as well as I can without putting my head in the camera. Okay, so there's that, and you can see again I didn't really stamp that perfectly. So my conclusion on these is you can make very beautiful Christmas cards or whatever really quickly. They work best on cardstock, fabulous on vellum. Do not touch them immediately because they will smear. They don't dry, like I said, quite as quickly as the classic inks, but they do dry quicker than the craft ink. So just be careful there. Be mindful of that. Let's see, there's all of those. So I would just, if you get it, play around with it, practice stamping with it. I recommend, personally, my personal preference. Oops, going the wrong way. I prefer bowed stamps with these two inks. I just think they come out better. But that's me. If you're going for a light background, that'll be fine. Or you might even like it how it kind of fades out on certain sections. It all really depends on the style that you're going for, and and we crafters, we know how to make it work, right? Even when we don't do things perfectly. So anyway, I really hope this was helpful, that I didn't leave anything out important that I wanted to say about the product. If there's something that, a question that I didn't answer, that you were thinking about concerning this product, just leave a comment below. And don't forget, leave a comment about what other product you would like to have me focus on for a review, and if I have that available to me, I will definitely do that. So as always, thanks for watching. I look forward to being with you again. Have a great day.